talking about things that are pertinent to you, pertinent to your joy, and some that are relevant to every Nigerian within the country and outside the country. This is focused on having a good relationship with yourself, with your neighborhood, with your community, with the government and government agencies, and everything that pertains to life and living in your immediate and enlarged environment. We want to look at one aspect of the justice system in Nigeria. Why is this thing relevant? It's relevant for you to know, to encourage one another to, because you have to believe and have faith in the justice system in any environment in which you find yourself. Because if there is justice and fairness, then you can live harmoniously with the environment. And the environment is made up of both the living and non-living things around you. So we want to look at the case of a young man called Gospel Kinanee. Is it possible in this 21st century for a young boy, a teenager, to end up spending almost 2 decades, that is precisely 18 years, in a government correctional institution without ever going for trial one single day? That's the story of Gospel Kinanee in Nigeria. According to the story, in 2007, he was 14 years old. In his locality in southern Nigeria, he went out to go and play football with his friend, which is what is very common between teenagers and children in Nigeria. We play football a lot. We use every space available to play football. So he went out to play football, but he never got back home again until 18 years later when his elder brother received a call. So what actually happened? According to the story, which has been verified by the agency, an NGO that came across him in the correctional center, by that time, he was already traumatized. His mental, cognitive level, and a lot of other things have been adversely affected. But when they heard about his case, because the people that met him there told these NGO people that please help us to take up the case of this boy. His case had never been to court. We met him here. And some other people that came and left said they met him here. And his case never took to court, was never taken to court. What offense did he commit? Nobody could say. Why was he there? Nobody could say. That's how, and they could not discuss with him because he was becoming incoherent, because he had been mentally and psychologically and emotionally affected. He never committed any offense. A 14-year-old boy went to play football and found himself at the correctional center. He could not understand. His family was never contacted. What really happened? That's a big question. That difficult question, which the courts in Nigeria, that is Rivers State, is still trying to unravel. According to what could be pieced together, on that fateful day, Gospel Kinanee went out, at least said greetings to his parents and said, well, it was good. Go and play. Just make sure you stay out of trouble. So but they waited and waited and waited, but he never came back home. And according to so the following day, when they didn't see him, they went search all over the locality. Where is Gospel? Where is Gospel? Where is Gospel? No sign. They went to the police station. Police said they don't know nothing. They will help them to look for him. They went to the hospitals. He wasn't found there. They said they went to the correctional center because we have to advise them. Like they say, Yoruba think about son, you look for it anyhow. They went to correctional to say, okay, we're looking for this. They don't have any record of anybody like that. I said they went to the correctional center in that area twice and said nothing. So that's how the parents did everything they could. And it was in the trauma of that we learn, according to story, that two of them passed on. Thinking their son, maybe, in Nigeria, maybe the boy had been kidnapped, maybe one thing or the other, they just lost hope. Say, like in Yoruba, we have a proverb, Omo mi ku, Omo eni ku yato ju Omo eni sọnù lọ. It's better to learn that the child has died than to know the child got lost. When it becomes a lost case, that means it becomes a hopeless case. So that's how they gave up and they passed on. So on this fateful day, the NGO that's led by a lawyer, they used to visit prisons, to do visitation, to counsel them, to say, okay, when we help you and you're able to get out of this place, make sure you make your life worthwhile. You don't get back to this place again. You don't get to come back to this place again. It was while they were there that their attention was drawn to this boy that is no more particularly sane, like a normal child should be. And that was in 2024. So they took up the case, tried to communicate with him, tried to say, what is your name? You could tell them his name. But if any other, he was becoming incoherent. But he said with time, they were able to link. So do you have any relation, any brother? So they were able to put some pieces together. Then according to them, they have to now I am visiting the courts and table this case. Say, excuse me, this is what we found out. And the court gave them the go-ahead to investigate more. So they brought the case to the chief judge of the state. And the chief judge looked at it and said, well, the bottom line, the boy, they didn't have any case file for him. According to the story, his name was not even in the record book of the institution center. I said, okay, so if somebody commits offense, at least what did you book the person on? What offense? Which court gave the order that this boy should be remanded? And there was nothing to judge to review his case. That's how he spent 18 stressful, unrecoverable years in the correctional center. So the court gave the order that he should be reunited with his family. That's how this NGO, through researches and a lot of effort, were able to get the contact of his elder. And they called the elder brother and say, excuse me, are you so? He said, yes. Do you know so Gospel? He said, yes. Well, we like to see your brother is such a place. He said, what? But they believe he was dead. 18 years. He was 14, so he's now 32. So more than half spent there. So the trauma had made the boy to lose his cognitive sense. So the courts and the judge gave leave. So they were able to contact the brother. The brother now met them. So they now reunited him with his brother and with his family. But until the time I'm speaking, the boy is still going through rehabilitation to be able to at least see how they can help to recover his cognitive ability and a lot of other things and his good memory. When I do the normal video, I put some of the pictures and the video inside that one. So there are a lot of questions that became very pertinent at this time. One of them is, what could have brought about this? What could have gone wrong? Several things could have happened. This is what we call institutional failure. Institutional failure. Now, poor arrest documentation. When you arrest somebody, you document this person was arrested for this crime. Shashikuma, you're welcome. Thank you. Where are you reflecting with me from? I'm reflecting from Nigeria, a country in West Africa, tropical region of the world. We have lots of sunshine and we are presently in the rainy season. Ramandeep, you are welcome. You're welcome. I'm talking about the justice system and how a young man got to spend 18 years in detention without trial and without any known offense. He was 14 years old when he was remanded in custody, and it was 18 years later that through the work of an NGO, they discovered him and they've helped him to, but they are still seeking for justice. They have taken the case to court to ask for compensation for the young man. And the court is now doing their own part to investigate and see what they can do to assist the young man. His name is Gospel Kinanee. You can Google, you see more on the YouTube. It's already a well-documented story. So then we have missing incomplete file. At least every person in custody, they should open a case file for such a person. And for Gospel Kinanee, no case file could be found. Now, delay in investigation, at least if you put somebody in detention, the case should be investigated. And even before you put somebody in such a place, you must have done some investigation and found the person guilty of one thing or other before you put it in correction. What are you trying to correct in the first place? That is also an error. This is our country, Nigeria. And we are saying this because all these things need to stop. This is not to be happening in this 21st century, in this sense of development of the world. Please share your own comment accordingly. So we have prolonged remand without effective review. What the law says is that anyone that is allegedly called a suspect within 48 hours, the person should be charged to court. And if the need, you go to the judge will give you about 1, 2, 3 months max for investigation. But now this one has spent 18 years. What are you doing? There's nothing to even investigate. That's part of the tragedy of the whole story. So please, the justice system, the security system, the agents, because ordinary person cannot put somebody in a correctional institution. It must have been one of the legalized security agencies of the government that will arrest the person, take the person to court, and get order from the court to be remanded in government custody. But no record could be found for this boy. So it's still a mystery. So then we have limited access to legal representation. This one also should not be an issue, because what is being said, what is being flaunted is that if a suspect is arrested and the person doesn't have the capacity to get a lawyer, this country has a system by which they can get a defense lawyer for him or her pro bono. So this was not done. Then we have weak communication between police, the courts, and the correctional center. And also the judicial system. When you say somebody should be kept in custody, no follow-up. And the judicial system also have that thing, they say, they visit the court to check for some impropriety in some of the people that are in detention. Then inadequate oversight function and periodic audit of detention records. At least there should be periodic audit of the record. Check, okay, how many people are in custody? Where are they? For how long have they been in custody? Check each one of them. How much? How many years? How many months have this one spent? Why is the case not in court? All those things that should be. No, that is talking about value for human life. You don't turn a saint into a demon, because some of these things can be apparent and very high level of injustice, like that of Gospel Kinanee now. He has affected his mental ability and mental attitude and cognitive intelligence because of the trauma he went through. As 14 years, he's now 32. Spent most of his life, more than half of his life already, for an offense he never committed, for a case that was never brought to court. So they are still trying to find out who are the people that arrested him and put him in such a condition and stole and destroyed 18 years of his life. Honored by the account of things in Nigeria, the boy will have been in senior high school at that age. So they cut short his education, they cut short his dream, they truncated his destiny. So what can the government do? The government should digitize all criminal records. In this one to be easier to track. Very important. And conduct regular nationwide reviews of all awaiting trial cases in all our correctionals, in all our custodies. Just do that. It's not a rocket science to do. Programs can be even drawn by IT experts for that. Then strengthened the Legal Aid Council to be able to assist the vulnerable members of the society and community. We have Legal Aid Council. That's the one that give legal assistance pro bono to suspects who cannot afford to get a lawyer to represent them in the court of justice. So the government should ensure periodic judicial oversights of remand cases. So there should be improvement in the coordination of the work of the police, the prosecutors, the courts, and the correctional centers. There should be synergy to make sure there is carriage of justice and the injustice being meted out to citizens. Like when somebody was in there, he said more than 50 cases of those in detention are not supposed to be in detention by now. That's why institutional centers are congested. So let's continue to provide continuous training on constitutional rights and legal rights for our correctional centers and agencies so that they know how to respect sanctity of human life and fundamental human rights and values of life, time, so that you don't continue to commit spiritual, ethical, social, and cultural offense against innocent souls. What every Nigerian should know is that you need to know your legal rights and be able to shout for it. The boy's family were never contacted for one day. At least they will have known that their son or their brother was there, but they were never contacted. They were like, okay, what are you? What is? Then they contacted. No, at least because normally when if somebody that's in correctional center, the family will visit once in a while, maybe once in a month, as much as they can afford to do. There is right for prisoners to be visited or people that are incarcerated or in custody. So this one, nobody visited him from his family for 18 years. You can imagine the trauma. So then keep important identification documents with you. At least it's just terrible. Because when somebody is arrested, at least you are given opportunity to be able to call at least one phone call. That's what we learn. You give you one phone call to call a member of family and so please, I'm in this place. I'm in this place. They never give the opportunity to call any member of his family. It's terrible. It's terrible. So report anything that when you see something. It's very important. So in conclusion, let us just know that Nigeria is not a banana country, it's not a banana nation, it's not a place where things are done anyhow. So this is just one of the few rare cases of this abnormality. Thank you for reflecting with me. Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will overcome all those things, and we shall have good stories to tell about Nigeria, about Nigerians. Thank you and God bless you. Okay. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to this channel, the Synagogue Reflection. On the normal channel, I talk about relationships and things that affect you, things that are germane to your joy, to your peace, your growth, and you have only one life to live, and you have a right to live it well. Thank you. We pray Gospel Kinanee will get good justice, and the reparation will favor him accordingly. Thank you.